Serena, who looked miserable in a dress that was trying too hard to be elegant. They were arguing in hushed tones, their faces tense. Maya's stomach clenched, but not with the pain she expected. Instead, she felt nothing. No anger, no hurt, no longing. Derek looked smaller somehow, diminished. His confidence was gone, replaced by a nervous energy that made him seem almost pathetic. He spotted her at the same moment. His eyes widened, his face going pale. Serena followed his gaze and visibly flinched when she saw Maya. "Do you want to leave?" Alexander asked quietly. He had noticed them too. "No," Maya said firmly. "I have every right to be here. More right than they do." She turned her back on them and focused on the ceremony. A few minutes later, the announcer called out, and the award for Emerging Company of the Year goes to Phoenix Solutions, founded by Maya Carson and Alexander Stone. The ballroom erupted in applause. Maya felt Alexander's hand squeeze hers as they stood and walked to the stage. The lights were blinding, the applause deafening. Maya accepted the crystal trophy, her hand steady, her smile genuine. "Thank you," she said into the microphone. "A year ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. I had lost everything I thought mattered, my relationship, my plans for the future, my sense of who I was. But that loss forced me to discover something more important, my own strength, my own potential, my own worth." Phoenix Solutions represents more than just a successful business. It represents the power of rising from the ashes, of rebuilding yourself stronger than before, of refusing to let circumstances define you. Thank you to everyone who believed in us, who took a chance on us, who helped us grow. This is just the beginning. As she left the stage, trophy in hand, Maya walked past Derek's table. She didn't stop, didn't acknowledge him, didn't even glance in his direction. He was irrelevant now, a footnote in her story, not the main character. The grand return. 1 year after the failed wedding, Maya stood in the ballroom of the city's most prestigious hotel, surrounded by the elite of the business world. It was the annual Business Excellence Awards, and Phoenix Solutions had been nominated for Emerging Company of the Year. Maya wore a stunning red dress that hugged her curves perfectly, her hair cascading down her back in elegant waves. Diamond earrings, a gift from Alexander, sparkled under the chandelier lights. She barely recognized herself from the woman she had been a year ago. That Maya had been soft, accommodating, always trying to make others comfortable. This Maya was polished, confident, powerful. She had learned to take up space in a room, to speak with authority, to never apologize for her success. Alexander stood beside her, devastatingly handsome in his tuxedo. Their relationship had progressed slowly but steadily over the past 7 months. They were careful to keep things professional at the office, but outside of work, they were a couple. He made her laugh. He challenged her thinking. He supported her ambitions without trying to control them. He was everything Derek had never been. "Nervous?" Alexander asked, his hand resting lightly on her lower back. "Should I be?" Maya replied with a smile. Phoenix Solutions has revolutionized the industry in less than a year. You've won over clients that Hamilton Industries held for decades. You've built a team of the best talent in the business. You've turned a startup into a powerhouse. So no, you shouldn't be nervous. You should be proud. The ceremony began. Maya watched as award after award was presented. She applauded politely for the winners, exchanged pleasantries with other attendees, and networked with potential clients. This was her world now, these events, these people, this level of success. And then she saw him. Derek Hamilton stood across the room, looking uncomfortable in a rented tuxedo that didn't fit quite right. He was with. But somewhere along the way, it became more than that. You became more than that. Maya's breath caught. "Alexander. I'm not asking for anything," he said quickly. "I know you're not ready. You're still healing from what Derek did. But I need you to know that my feelings for you have become complicated. And I'll understand if you need to distance yourself, if this makes our working relationship difficult. Maya looked at this man who had changed her life. Who had seen her at her lowest moment and offered her a hand up instead of pity. Who had believed in her potential when she didn't believe in herself. Who had become her partner in every sense of the word. It doesn't make things difficult, she said softly. It makes things clear. She stepped forward and kissed him. It was gentle at first, tentative, but then Alexander's arms wrapped around her and the kiss deepened. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were breathless. We should probably talk about this, Alexander said, his voice rough. Monday, Maya said. We'll talk about it Monday. Tonight, let's just be two people who like each other? Alexander finished. Maya smiled. Exactly. As they drove back to her apartment, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in months, happiness. Not the satisfaction of closing a deal or the thrill of success. Just simple, genuine happiness. But she also felt fear. Because caring about someone, trusting someone, opening her heart again, that was terrifying. Derek had taught her that love was dangerous, that people would use your feelings against you, that vulnerability was weakness. But as Alexander walked her to her door and kissed her goodnight, Maya realized something important. Derek hadn't taught her about love. He had taught her about betrayal. There was a difference. Real love, if it existed, would be nothing like what she had with Derek. Real love would be built on honesty, respect, and genuine partnership. Work with her. But she was also exhausted. She hadn't dated anyone. She barely saw her old friends. Her entire life revolved around work and proving herself. And if she was being honest, a part of her was doing this to show Derek what he had lost. That was revenge, wasn't it? Even if she wouldn't admit it out loud. News reached her through the grapevine that Derek and Serena's relationship was falling apart. Apparently, Serena had expected Derek to marry her immediately after the failed wedding, but Derek had hesitated. His father was furious about the scandal and had cut Derek's salary and responsibilities at the company. Derek and Serena fought constantly, each blaming the other for the mess they were in. Maya told herself she didn't care. But she did. She cared that they were unhappy. She cared that they were facing consequences. She cared that karma was real. Growing connection. Through it all, Alexander was her constant. He was her business partner, her mentor, her friend. They spent hours together every day, strategizing, planning, executing. He pushed her to be better, to think bigger, to never settle. He celebrated her wins and helped her learn from her losses. He believed in her when she doubted herself. And slowly, almost without Maya realizing it, their relationship began to shift. There were moments when his hand would linger on hers during a meeting. Times when she caught him watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Dinners that felt more like dates than business discussions. One evening, after closing a major deal, Alexander took her to an expensive restaurant to celebrate. They talked and laughed, the conversation flowing easily. As they left the restaurant, Alexander's car pulled up, but he didn't get in immediately. Maya, he said, turning to face her. I need to tell you something. Her heart started racing. What is it? This partnership, this company, it started as a business arrangement. A way for both of us to get what we want. Fit into their plans. I was naive. I thought love meant something. But I'm grateful for that wake-up call, because it pushed me to become someone I never knew I could be. Do you have any message for Derek Hamilton? The reporter asked. Maya smiled, a smile that was all confidence and no bitterness. No message. I'm too busy building my future to think about his past. The article went viral. Within a week, Phoenix Solutions had 50 new client inquiries. Within a month, they had landed 3 major contracts. Within 3 months, they had poached 15 key employees from Hamilton Industries, including their head of innovation. Derek called her once, 2 months after the wedding. Maya was in a strategy meeting when her assistant interrupted to say he was on the line. Everyone in the room looked at her, waiting to see what she would do. "Tell him I'm unavailable," Maya said. "And block his number from the company phone system." Alexander, who was sitting across from her, nodded in approval. "Well done. Old wounds surface." But success came with complications. Maya's parents were thrilled about the new business partnership, about the improved contract with the Hamiltons, about their daughter's transformation. But they were also worried. "You've changed," her mother said over dinner one evening. "You're harder now. Colder. We barely see you anymore. You're always working." "I'm building something, Mom," Maya said. "That takes time and focus." "But at what cost?" her father asked gently. "We're proud of you, sweetheart. But we don't want you to lose yourself in this quest for revenge." "It's not revenge," Maya insisted. "It's success. There's a difference." But late at night, alone in her luxury apartment, Maya sometimes wondered if they were right. She had achieved more in 6 months than she had in her entire previous career. Phoenix Solutions was thriving. She was making more money than she had ever dreamed of. People respected her, sought her advice, wanted to. "Yes. I'm sure." Alexander smiled, and for the first time, Maya saw genuine respect in his eyes. "Then let's get started. Building the empire." The next 6 months were the hardest and most exhilarating of Maya's life. Alexander was true to his word. He set her up with an apartment in the city's best neighborhood, not as a gift but as a company expense. He introduced her to the best lawyers, who helped her father renegotiate the contract with Hamilton Industries on far more favorable terms. He connected her with headhunters who began quietly recruiting top talent from Derek's company. And he enrolled her in an intensive executive education program, where Maya learned everything she needed to know about running a business, finance, operations, strategy, leadership. She studied 18 hours a day, absorbing information like a sponge. At night, she worked with Alexander on their business plan, refining it, perfecting it. They decided to launch a tech consulting firm that would offer the same services as Hamilton Industries but with better customer service, more innovative solutions, and competitive pricing. Maya came up with the name, Phoenix Solutions. Rising from the ashes. The company launched in September, 6 months after the failed wedding. The buzz was immediate. Everyone in the business world knew the story of Maya Carson and her dramatic exit from Derek Hamilton's wedding. Some people felt sorry for her. Others respected her courage. But everyone was curious about what she would do next. Maya gave one interview, to the city's top business magazine. She sat in Phoenix Solutions' sleek new office, wearing a power suit that cost more than her old monthly rent, her hair styled, her makeup flawless. The reporter asked her about Derek, about the wedding, about the humiliation. "Derek taught me an important lesson," Maya said calmly. "He taught me that some people see relationships as transactions. They calculate what they can gain, what they can use you for, how you operations. But I need someone who understands branding, positioning, public relations. Someone who can tell our story in a way that resonates with customers. Someone who has a personal stake in seeing this succeed." Maya's heart was pounding. "This is crazy. I just left my wedding an hour ago. I can't make a decision like this right now." "You're right," Alexander said, standing up. "Take the weekend. Stay here in this suite. Order room service, watch movies, sleep, process everything that happened. On Monday morning, come to my office. I'll show you the business plan. You can ask questions, raise concerns, think it through. If you decide no, that's fine. I'll help you anyway. I'll make sure your father's company gets a fair deal with the Hamiltons, and you can go on with your life. But if you say yes..." He paused, his eyes locked on hers. "If you say yes, I promise you, Maya Carson, I will help you become more successful than Derek Hamilton ever dreamed of being." I will help you build something that makes his family's company look like a lemonade stand. And when you walk past him on the street one day, in your designer clothes and your confident stride, he will know exactly what he lost. Maya felt something stirring inside her, something she had never felt before. It wasn't anger, exactly. It was bigger than that. It was ambition. Determination. A hunger to prove everyone wrong. I don't need the weekend, she heard herself say. I want to see the business plan now. Alexander raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? I've spent 5 years letting Derek dictate my life, Maya said, standing up. 5 years making myself smaller, quieter, more convenient. 5 years being the perfect girlfriend, then the perfect fiancée, trying to make him happy. And what did it get me? Betrayed and humiliated in front of 300 people. I'm done being that version of myself. If you're offering me a chance to build something real, something powerful, something that's mine, then. Competitor. Maya's mind was spinning. You want to help my father's company compete against the Hamiltons? I want to help you destroy Derek Hamilton's future, Alexander said bluntly. Not physically, not illegally, but professionally. Financially. I want to help you become so successful that Derek spends the rest of his life regretting what he lost. And in the process, I gain a business advantage against Thomas Hamilton, who I've been wanting to take down for years. Why? Maya asked. Why do you want to take him down? Alexander's expression darkened. Because Thomas Hamilton destroyed my father's company 20 years ago through underhanded tactics. My father lost everything. He died of a heart attack from the stress when I was 22 years old. I've spent the last 2 decades building my empire back up, waiting for the right opportunity to return the favor. Today, watching his son humiliate you at that altar, I realized the universe was handing me that opportunity. The unexpected alliance. Maya should have been scared. This was clearly about more than just helping her. Alexander Stone had his own agenda, his own revenge to pursue. But as she sat there, looking at this powerful man who was offering her a chance to fight back, she realized she didn't care about his motives. She cared about the opportunity. What exactly are you proposing? She asked. Alexander smiled. I'm proposing a partnership. You work with me. I'll provide capital, resources, and business expertise. You'll be the face of a new venture. We'll start a company that will directly compete with Hamilton Industries. We'll poach their best employees, undercut their prices, innovate faster than they can keep up. Within 2 years, we'll have cut their market share in half. I'm not a CEO, Maya protested. I'm just a marketing manager. I don't know how to run a company. But you know marketing, Alexander said. And that's what I need. I can handle the business strategy, the finance, the... Apologize. She just said, what did you expect? You're not exactly Prince Charming. You're just rich. Maya winced. That's awful. It was, Alexander agreed. But it taught me something important. People will use you if you let them. They'll take advantage of your kindness, your love, your trust. The world isn't kind to people with soft hearts. So you have 2 choices, you can let this destroy you, or you can use it to rebuild yourself into something stronger. I don't feel strong, Maya whispered. I feel humiliated. Used. Stupid for not seeing what was right in front of me for 5 years. You're not stupid, Alexander said firmly. You're trusting. There's a difference. But trust needs to be earned, and Derek never earned it. He just took advantage of it. Maya was quiet for a long moment. You said you had a proposition for me. Alexander leaned forward, his eyes intense. I do. Maya, I've been watching Derek's father's company for years. Thomas Hamilton is a shark, but his son is a fool. Derek has been handed everything on a silver platter, and he's squandered every opportunity. He thinks he's untouchable because of his family name. Today proved that. What does this have to do with me? Maya asked. Everything, Alexander said. Your father's company, Carson Manufacturing, produces essential components for Hamilton Industries. That partnership is worth millions. But your father signed a contract that heavily favors the Hamiltons. It was a bad deal, but your father made it because he trusted Thomas, because their children were getting married. Maya felt sick. So my father hurt his own company to help the Hamiltons because of me? Not because of you, Alexander corrected. Because of Derek's lies. But here's the thing, that contract has a clause. If the marriage doesn't happen, the terms are renegotiated. Your father has leverage now. And with the right guidance, Carson Manufacturing could not only break free from the Hamiltons but could become a major. The aftermath of ruins. Alexander took Maya to a luxury hotel penthouse suite, one of the properties owned by his company. The living room was bigger than her entire apartment, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Maya stood in the middle of the room in her wedding dress, feeling completely lost. The bedroom has a full closet, Alexander said, pouring 2 glasses of scotch. My assistant keeps clothes here for emergencies. Help yourself to anything. Take your time. Maya nodded and disappeared into the bedroom. She peeled off the wedding dress, letting it pool on the floor like a white puddle of broken dreams. In the closet, she found designer jeans, soft sweaters, and elegant dresses. She chose a simple black outfit and pulled her hair down from its elaborate updo. When she looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. Her makeup was smudged from crying, but her eyes looked different. Harder. Older. When she returned to the living room, Alexander handed her the glass of scotch. Maya had never been much of a drinker, but today she downed it in 2 gulps. It burned her throat, but the pain felt good. Real. My phone has been buzzing non-stop, she said, looking at the screen. 53 missed calls. Hundreds of texts. My parents, my friends, even Derek. They all want to talk. Do you want to talk to them? Alexander asked. Maya turned off her phone. No. Not yet. Maybe not ever. She collapsed onto the sofa, suddenly exhausted. I don't understand why you're helping me. You don't know me. You were at the wedding as Derek's father's guest. Why aren't you back there with them? Alexander sat across from her, his expression thoughtful. Because I've been where you are. Not exactly the same situation, but close enough. 10 years ago, I was engaged to a woman I thought I loved. Found out 2 weeks before the wedding that she was only interested in my money. She had a whole other life I knew nothing about. When I confronted her, she didn't even. About to pour out here with questions and cameras. You need to leave, now. I'll take you wherever you want to go. No strings attached. Just one person helping another. Maya hesitated for only a second. Then she heard the church doors opening behind her, heard her name being called. She made a split-second decision and climbed into the car. As they pulled away from the curb, Maya caught a glimpse of Derek standing on the church steps, watching her leave. For the first time in 5 years, she didn't care what he thought. Where to? The stranger asked. Anywhere but here, Maya whispered. The man nodded. I'm Alexander Stone, by the way. Maya's head snapped up. Alexander Stone. She knew that name. Everyone knew that name. He was one of the wealthiest men in the country, a billionaire investor and CEO of Stone Enterprises. What was he doing at her wedding? And why was he helping her? I'm Maya, she said quietly. Though I guess you already know that. I do, Alexander said. And I have a proposition for you, Maya. But first, let's get you out of that dress and into a stiff drink. Then we can talk about your future. Maya looked down at her wedding dress, the dress she had spent months choosing, the dress she was supposed to wear while promising forever to a man who never loved her. She started laughing, and then she was crying, and then she was doing both at once. Alexander handed her a tissue and drove on in silence, giving her space to fall apart. For the first time all day, Maya felt like maybe, just maybe, she was going to be okay. Never loved me. He used me. He lied to me for 5 years. And my own cousin helped him betray me. So no, Derek, you don't get to play the hero here. You don't get to pretend you're being honest and noble. You're a coward and a liar. Derek's mother was crying. His father's face was purple with rage. Maya's parents sat in stunned silence. Serena had collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Maya turned back to Derek. I hope she was worth it. I hope you two are very happy together. Because you deserve each other. She ripped off her veil and threw it at his feet. Then she grabbed the front of her wedding dress and marched back down the aisle, her head held high. The guests parted like the Red Sea as she passed. She burst through the church doors into the bright sunlight, gulping air like she had been drowning. Her whole body was shaking now, the adrenaline finally hitting her. She had done it. She had stood up for herself. But now what? Her life was in ruins. Her relationship was over. Her family was humiliated. She had nowhere to go and no idea what to do next. A sleek black car pulled up to the curb. The driver's window rolled down, revealing a man Maya had never seen before. He was older, maybe in his early 40s, with silver streaks in his dark hair and sharp, intelligent eyes. He wore an expensive suit and had the kind of presence that commanded attention. You handled that beautifully, he said, his voice smooth and cultured. But I'm guessing you don't have an exit plan. Maya stared at him. Who are you? Someone who was invited to this disaster of a wedding by Derek's father. We have business dealings. I was sitting in the back, watching the whole thing unfold. He smiled slightly. I've seen a lot of bold moves in my career, but that was impressive. You have fire in you. Thanks, I guess, Maya said, still shaking. But I really need to be alone right now. Get in the car, the stranger said. You're in a wedding dress in front of a church full of people who hair into an elegant updo, as her bridesmaids fluttered around her like excited butterflies. Serena was among them, her face a mask of false affection. You look absolutely stunning, Serena gushed, adjusting Maya's veil. Derek is the luckiest man alive. Maya met her cousin's eyes in the mirror. Do you really think so? Of course. You two are perfect together. True love, you know? Maya smiled, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Yes. True love. She had forwarded the email to her own phone. The evidence was there, ready whenever she needed it. But Maya wasn't sure what she was going to do yet. Part of her wanted to run, to disappear, to avoid the humiliation of what was coming. But another part of her, a part she didn't know existed, wanted something else entirely. She wanted justice. The church was packed with 300 guests. The flowers alone had cost more than most people's cars. Derek's family had spared no expense for this circus, as he had called it. Maya stood in the bride's room, her father beside her, ready to walk her down the aisle. Are you nervous, sweetheart? Her father asked, patting her hand. Not anymore, Maya said quietly. I'm completely certain about what I need to do. The walk of truth. The music began. The doors opened. Maya took her father's arm and began the long walk down the aisle. Every eye in the church turned to watch her. She looked straight ahead at Derek, who stood at the altar in his perfectly tailored tuxedo, his smile confident and self-assured. Next to him stood his best man. On the bride's side, Serena held the bouquet of flowers, her expression carefully arranged into one of happiness. Maya's mind was eerily calm. She had made her decision. When they reached the altar, her father kissed her cheek and placed her hand in Derek's. His palm was slightly sweaty. Good, Maya thought. He should be nervous. The minister began the ceremony. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Derek Hamilton. Maya felt like she couldn't breathe. 5 years of her life had been a complete lie. She thought back to how they met at a charity gala. Derek had been so charming, so attentive. He pursued her relentlessly, sending flowers to her office, planning elaborate dates, introducing her to his family. His parents loved her immediately. Her parents adored him. Derek was the golden boy, heir to Hamilton Industries, one of the largest tech companies in the country. Everyone said Maya was lucky to have caught his attention. She was just a marketing manager at a mid-level firm, pretty but not extraordinarily beautiful, smart but not brilliant. Derek could have had anyone, and he chose her. Or so she thought. Now she understood. Her father owned Carson Manufacturing, a company that produced components Derek's company needed. 6 months after they started dating, their fathers announced a business partnership. Maya had thought it was a happy coincidence. Now she realized she had been nothing more than a business transaction. And Serena. Her own cousin, the girl she had grown up with, shared secrets with, trusted completely. Serena had been her maid of honor. She had helped Maya pick out this very wedding dress. She had organized the bridal shower, given a touching speech about love and family. All while sleeping with Maya's fiancé behind her back. Maya's mother knocked on the door. "Sweetheart, the hair and makeup team is here. Are you ready to become the most beautiful bride?" Maya looked at her reflection in the mirror. Her eyes were red, but she hadn't cried yet. Something cold and hard was forming in her chest, replacing the pain. She had been raised to be polite, to be accommodating, to never make a scene. But today, that version of Maya was dying. "I'll be right there, Mom," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. The calm before the storm. The next 3 hours passed in a blur. Maya sat silently as the makeup artist transformed her face, as the hairstylist pinned her dark. The morning that changed everything. The sun rose over the city like any other Saturday morning, but for Maya Carson, this was supposed to be the most beautiful day of her life. She sat in her childhood bedroom, staring at the white wedding dress hanging on the closet door. The silk fabric caught the golden light, making it shimmer like a dream. In just 4 hours, she would walk down the aisle and marry Derek Hamilton, the man she had loved for 5 years. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Maya smiled, expecting a sweet message from Derek. Instead, she saw a text from an unknown number. Her heart stopped as she opened it. "Check your email. You deserve to know the truth before you make the biggest mistake of your life." Maya's hands trembled as she opened her laptop. In her inbox sat an email with no subject line. She clicked it open, and her world shattered into a million pieces. There were photos, dozens of them. Derek and her cousin Serena, kissing outside a hotel. Derek and Serena holding hands at a restaurant. Derek and Serena laughing together at the beach, the same beach where he had proposed to Maya just 1 year ago. The timestamps on the photos told an even more painful story. These weren't old pictures from before their relationship. These were recent, some from just last week. The final photo made Maya's stomach turn. It was a screenshot of text messages between Derek and Serena from 2 days ago. "Derek, just 2 more days and this circus will be over. The wedding is just for show. My parents would disown me if I didn't go through with it. But you're the one I really love. Serena, I know, baby. I can't wait until we can finally be together openly." Maya is so blind. She actually thinks you love her. Derek, she's convenient. Her father's business connections helped mine. But once the wedding is done and the merger is complete, I'll find a way out. You're my real future. The perfect lie unraveled.